And we are live. Hi, guys. We're live. Welcome to the liveness. How is everybody? Is everybody good? I hope everybody's good. Because here I am. Rock you like a hurricane. So, it's been another exciting week, huh? Oh, my phone's going off. Because it is. So, who do we got here? We got Roman, we got Carrie, we got Kurt, we got Craig. Is it working? It's working. It's twerking. It's twerking. And I am turning my phone off to not be rude. Because you tell people you're busy and they just keep sending you messages anyway. Because they're dicks. Anyway, hey guys. So my background today. The background on the green screen. I love that I have a green screen. So, see this? That is a complete field deployable rain, death, and destruction unit. Actually, that's at Wendover. Wendover has a lot of history. But that is Wendover is, if you've seen Independence Day, that's Area 51 in Independence Day. That's also where they first mated up the first atomic bomb to the Enola Gay to make sure it could carry it. And they've done a lot of other stuff too. Anytime in Con Air, anytime you saw an airport, that was at the Wendover airport. And that is where we used to go to do a lot of field exercises, where we would set up the entire thing. So I figured I'd put it as, you have no idea the capabilities that you're seeing or not seeing in that picture. To control the whole air war and run intercepts, control close air support, refueling, bombing, all sorts of stuff. So anyway, yes, I do want to talk about drones today. You know, have a little military chat, because boy, am I sick of people. You know how like the media just calls anything with tracks a tank, and sometimes things with wheels a tank too. But they'll call anything that is too small to put a man in the cockpit a drone. And sometimes they'll call things that are regular sized a drone too. And it kind of pisses me off because, you know, I get pissed off. But first, guys, do you hear the computer? No, you don't. You don't, because they fixed it. Got all new fans in there. It's nice and quiet. Yay. So it's nice and quiet. Oh, I like you so much. So I'm going to jump right into this. Then we can discuss whatever we want. So a drone, guys. We hear drone strike this and drone operations and all that stuff. And just like we have started calling any tissue a Kleenex or whatever, and this started kind of when the term drone strike became really common, sort of, and I'm not blaming it on them, but I'm just giving you a time frame. Under the Obama administration, they really went to town with them. That's when the media really started doing this drone strike thing. Drone. And there's a big difference between a drone and what people really call drones, but they're not, which is a remotely piloted vehicle, an unmanned aerial system, an unmanned aerial vehicle. There are a lot of different terminologies that go on. So I'm going to tell you right now, if a drone is being controlled, if a vehicle is being controlled remotely by a pilot, it is not a drone. It's by military standards, that's not what a drone is. A drone operates autonomously. Now, there might be some command systems on board, like a detonation sequence, like a button that starts a command sequence. But a drone is something that is pre-programmed to do a series of stuff. And my hat's crooked. Sorry. And it is launched either from the air or the ground, even water. and it needs no human input to complete its pre-programmed series. So a drone is operating on its own. Okay, that is a drone, and there are a good amount, a series of actual drones that we've used in combat and not in combat. Typically, they're not combat weapon systems. Okay, they are used for reconnaissance. We use them very heavily over places where we weren't supposed to be. Like in the Vietnam era, we flew them over China, so as not to risk our own stuff. We use them a lot for weapon systems evaluation programs. So we can have them do different things where there might be a danger. We use them to train pilots to shoot at. We do a lot of stuff with them. I'm going to show you. You know what? I should have thought of this. I'm going to show you some pictures of actual drones. And I'm hoping that I can't remember what they are. I can't remember the actual designations, but you know what it is? I'm getting the hold on. Sorry. I'm getting the designations right. Here's one, for example, that I can bring up. And then here's another one that I'm going to bring up and hold on. This is maybe one of the most famous ones in the world. All right, I'm going to share my screen like I do so often. Slides. That wants to slide. Wow, these are like all sorts of extra. There we go. Okay, so we're going to share this. So this is the Firebee. This was a target, but we also used different versions of these with different features. There were air-launched and ground-launched versions. This is the ground-launched version that you're looking at right here. This is a drone. So it was programmed to do things. It's very small. And once it was launched, a pilot needed no input on that unless it had like a special kind of feature on it, like we wanted to initiate a jam sequence or something, but they can also be programmed to do stuff like when they register that there's a radar sweeping over them to initiate their own maneuver sequence or something. But that's a drone. Okay, now when we're talking about something like, how much did one of those cost, Dominic? Back then, the newest ones cost in the hundreds of thousands of dollar range, low million at the I think it's the hang on a second. Let me see if I can get it right. I think the newest one that we used at Tyndall was the BQM 78, maybe. Nope, I was wrong. Let me show you the one that we used at Tyndall. There we go. I'm going to share my screen again. And this is share screen, Microsoft Edge tab. This is the most current aerial what we call a subscale target, because it's smaller than a regular airplane. And these are used right now at Tyndall Air Force Base and other places. But if you drive by between Tyndall Air Force Base and out to Mexico Beach on US 98, there's a whole separate section of the base that is just for launching these things off like a little rail launcher. And they can be programmed to do specific things, different flight paths. They can be fully shot down, or they can just sort of parachute themselves down in the Gulf of Mexico. And then we have these boats that go and pick them up so they can be reused again. And they are about $1 million each, which is why we prefer them to be reusable. Oh, hey, Rach, I see you. So drones are autonomous kinds of things. And Yeah, and this is what I'm saying, Sharpest, that we don't drones that we consider are not. Now, anything that requires a remote pilot's input is not a drone because it is not autonomous. And if you think about it too, so that makes cruise missiles literally they are drones, right? Because they're programmed to do something, and even if they're programmed to react to different input, they're still doing it all on their own. We have things. There was once upon a time called a tactical air launch decoy, the TALD, that a fighter plane or a bomber could launch that would follow a thing that would kind of act like a decoy so that they could penetrate hostile airspace. We have a new one called MALD, miniature air launch decoy. They are drones. They're programmed to do something. They fly around, and the launch aircraft never thinks about it again. That is a big difference from what most people call drones, which are unmanned aerial vehicles. Or now a drone also technically is an unmanned aerial vehicle, right? But we're really thinking of remotely piloted vehicles. Okay. Surgery. Oh, you're actually having the surgery. Good. I hope they actually finally fix something. There's Dave, the man who made the computer not make any noise. Yay. So when you're watching news or something and you hear about drone strike, it's not really a drone. It's a remotely piloted vehicle. We do not, in the US, we do not allow robots to launch weapons. There is always what we call a man-in-the-loop system. So the Predator, the Reaper, which are the big ones that we use that employ weapon systems. And I suppose I should show you guys what those look like too, just to give you a frame of reference. And I've worked extensively with the MQ-9, and you're probably all familiar with stuff that looks like this. So let me bring this up. The Predator was one of the first armed RPVs. Share screen. Okay, see this? This is an MQ-9 Reaper. This was the first remote piloted vehicle designed to deliver weapons. And under the wings, the big one you see is a GBU-12. It's a 500-pound laser-guided bomb. And next to it, you see two AGM-114 Hellfire missiles. They're originally designed to go the Apache. There's different warheads that can do different things, but in general, they take out small vehicles or tanks, depending on the warhead. All right? But the big bulge in the nose of the plane, that is all satellite uplink and downlink equipment for the remote piloted features of it. And then there's, other stuff throughout. This does not, you can't program this to just fly off on its own. Now it has an autopilot, right, that you can do stuff with. But it can't just fly all on its own. Right? Does that make sense? The autopilot will hold it on a steady course and direction, and that's it. It'll fly in a circle for you. It won't do all the things for you. And it certainly won't engage a target for you, because while we have systems that can identify one thing from another, we don't let them make the kinetic kill, because they're not that smart. So a little bit off topic, but I know you do a lot of knife videos. I have a channel of my own about knives, but I have trouble getting views. Do you have any suggestions, YouTuber to YouTuber? Yeah, you know what, Sharpest? When I first started, I didn't, I got like no views too. The thing is, you just got to keep plugging away, and you got to see what the trends are. You got to see what people are watching and what other people are doing that are getting views. And it takes time. It takes time. And you gotta find like a niche that's yours. You got to find a way to make your videos just a little bit separate from everybody else's. Let's face it, we all essentially do the same thing, right? We talk about the knives, we show the knives, we do whatever we all individually do to review them with our own personalities, but you got to find a way to make your videos unique to you. And mine was to throw in a little bit of my military EMS experience with it, and to be brutally honest to the point of insulting people with my reviews. You got to figure out, you got to like, and it's like I said, it's going to take you time. Don't be afraid to experiment with how you do the videos, and don't be afraid to try something over here on the one video and something completely different over here on the other video, just to see how it's received and to see, what gets you the best reaction. Don't lock yourself into, this is how I'm doing my videos, this is the only way I'm going to do my videos. Experiment around and try things out. And you got to decide, though, do you want to make videos for you the way that you make them, or do you really want to make videos for the views? And don't take this as the wrong way. This is up to you. Because once you start making videos just for views, then you kind of lose the autonomy of making the videos you want to. And I know that, like, the purpose of having videos is so people will watch them. I get that. But this is kind of, I've gone down this rabbit hole myself and then had to drag myself back up. If you want to make videos the way you want to make them, sometimes that means that you're willing to, I'm not going to get as big a channel as other people. And you know what? I'm never going to get a channel as big as other people, because I'm not going to drop any names, but there are some people that will go far out of their way to avoid alienating people or saying anything controversial, or they'll just make videos that they know will always be safe and nobody will have a problem with. And that's just not the way I do stuff. Like, I feel like, what's the point of even, what's the point of giving an opinion if you're tying one hand behind your back? You know what I mean? So there's a lot to think about. And if you want to, I'll be happy to tell you, like, have a whole private discussion with you, and tell you everything that I went through when starting my channel, and answer any question you have. Like, I'm not one of those gatekeeper dudes. I think the more people we have in this community, the better. But it all goes down to time, and you finding your particular voice, so to speak, in your videos, if that makes sense. I hope that helps. I hope that didn't just make it worse. But anyway, so back to the drone thing. So yeah. So it just, the way that tactical gets thrown around and military grade gets thrown around, the way that drone gets thrown around all over the place, by people that have no idea what they're talking about, it makes me nuts. Because they're not. Drone is very, very, very specific. And drones are generally not used in combat. They don't deliver weapons. Now, what is really cool is that, hey, Sharpest, like I said, if you have other questions, you want to email me, you want to chat about it, anytime. I always like trying to help out people if I can. We have some drones that are just like annoying noise jammers that will send in, and they will mimic the flight path and broadcast some electronic noise that makes them look like actual aircraft. Drones can do stuff in combat, but if you're launching ordnance, it's not a drone, because there is a man in the loop. And we do that for a few reasons, but I mean, not the slightest is like, actual law of warfare reasons. You'd be amazed, or maybe you wouldn't. You'd be amazed at how much stuff at higher levels only takes place because a lawyer in JAG somewhere signs off on it and says, yeah, you guys can do that. That's okay. In air warfare anyway, there are these different elements of it. And in theater, there's something called the Air and Space Operations Center. I think now they keep adding letters to it. So now it's the Combined Joint Air and Space Operations Center. And that's basically where the generals now, and the wing commanders and all this stuff, they all sit, usually removed from all the action, in some underground bunker, and they have satellite feeds and internet feeds, and they're getting information from every other field unit. And there's also, there's different sections. One is called combat plans. One is called combat ops. They've got, this is where the air war is. I'm sorry if this is boring, people, but so we fight under, the United States fights under the doctrine of centralized command and decentralized execution, which means you have one command, one chain of command, but that chain of command issues out orders and plans. It says this is what's going on, and the individual commanders on the ground fight their units the way they need to fight, as opposed to like, Stalin or Hitler, who tried to make all the tactical decisions, even though they were not on a battlefield. And by the time information got to them and they gave an order and it got down, the tactical situation was changed and it was like no good. So anyway, all of their plans, everything that they do at the high level, though, they actually have lawyers, Air Force lawyers, Army lawyers, military lawyers that have to consider the legal ramifications of everything that's going on. Hey, Todd, how's it going? How's it going? Not going on, or going on. How is it going on? But so there are lots of times where we have planned operations and planned missions for different things. And then, we're prepping. We send it up for approval, and we're like, all right, we just need to sign off on this. And then it comes down and either the whole sortie is a no-go, or we have to change elements of it because someone in legal says, well, they don't like this because if XYZ happens, it puts us in a legal gray area according to the law of armed conflict, the law of land warfare, things. And those are real things. Those are, not to mention like us and our allies are the only ones that follow it and whatever. But, nobody wants to end up at The Hague in front of a tribunal explaining why different things happened, So when we talk about drones, and I'm sorry, guys, my shoulder is hurting. When we talk about drones and why we always have man in the loop, when we're going to launch kinetic weapons. A kinetic weapon is anytime an explosive device comes off the rail or a bullet comes out of a gun. Kurt, no, World War II was not that way. It wasn't. But anytime we are going to put ordnance on a target, we always have a man in the loop, and we will not trust that to an automated system because automated systems are more fallible. And basically you can, how do I say this? A man or woman, I say man, but someone actually taking responsibility is more likely to be sure of the target and what they're doing because they know they have to answer for it if it goes wrong, as opposed to, a robot that notices a familiar shape and says, oh, that's an enemy tank, and takes a shot at it, and who knows what it could be. So right now, there are no true drone systems that are allowed to employ ordnance. And that's why when we have things like the Reaper that shoot, it's actually a two-person. I'm going to answer that for you, Sharpest, in a second. It's actually a two-person check because you have the one pilot, and then you have a systems operator, and they have to agree on targets. And the system operator is the one working the optics and all that stuff and designating targets. The pilot is the one who presses the pickle button or the release button, but the two of them have to agree that, yes, it's a valid target, collateral damage assessment, blah, 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 blah. And if they cannot agree on the target, they don't employ. And, they do that because they are looking at everything through electronic means. They can't actually put eyes on a target. Anyway, Ty Kunkel with G10 scales. Well, all right, let me get back. So, Charlotte, I was thinking about doing mods to knives. I think anybody trying to do mods to knives is cool. I encourage everybody to try. There's, I remember when the only person really doing knife mods on YouTube was Tough Thumbs. And I got a lot of my inspiration from him. And that's where I, kind of wanted. That's why I started doing knife mods, because I didn't even know you could until I saw his videos. And I said, I want to do that too. Yeah, I know. I don't know why. You know why part of my shirt keeps disappearing? It's because I didn't. You've got to set like a threshold, and because part of the shirt color is like tan, or part of the background color is tan. I didn't set it appropriately. So yeah. But yeah, David Jones, are you trying to ano it? Are you trying to like electro ano it, like really truly anodize? Or are you trying to do the old blowtorch heat oxidation? And hey, thank you for this. BK1, BK2, BK3. Interesting. Thank you, because all of the money that's generated here goes into our shipping for our giveaways, and I just got the Nada 940 off, and we'll be doing. Oh, the electric. I have no experience doing the electric. I thought about getting into it. I don't know how to do it. I've seen videos on it. Never done it. It's not that hard. You got to buy the right equipment, But if we gave a 4 or 5 gen night vision goggles, you put eyes on target. We got that right. Wait, what? But if we. Well, Angry in the MX little optic ball on the Reaper, they have night vision, they have infrared and everything, but it's still, the optics are only, the image quality is only as clear as the optics and the uplink downlink speed of their thing. So it's different than when you're actually flying over it. If we gave you. So, I mean, being able to be on scene and see a target in real life is different than having to deal with the trouble of identifying it 1,000 miles away. Let's see. So where are we at? Where's my opinion on the SOG Flash? It's all right. I have one. It's okay. I don't think it's anything great. It's not bad. It's all right. Yeah, Far Cry 6 really disappointed me too. I don't know if I have said this before. I paid for the whole pre-order with like the whole big bundle, the $119, you get everything, all the special stuff and extra weapons. I just don't like Far Cry 6. It just didn't, I don't know, it doesn't feel like the other Far Cries to me. And if I have to hear one more character say Gorilla one more time, like I'm so sick of it. I was not happy. I'd rather play 4 or 5 over and over again than play 6. I haven't touched 6 in months. In fact, I just didn't like it, not at all. Yeah, I mean, I'm still hoping that there's going to be a good new game coming out that I can really get behind. I mean, I still like Borderlands. I wasn't really super into it like some other people were. It was fun, and the Outer Worlds is fun, and I still play that from time to time. But I want a new Fallout that's more like Fallout 4. I still play 76 because I do. I like punishment, I guess. I don't know. And from time to time, I play Ace Combat 7. Of course, as soon as the Ghost of Kiev started up, I was like, yeah, I'm loading up the MiG-29 in Ace Combat 7, and I was like, this plane is terrible. But that's what I've been doing. So, but I never could get into Skyrim. I think Sam used to play Skyrim, and she really enjoyed it, but I was not. I was not. Oh, sharpest, my pleasure. No problem. What's the knife you choose over all others? When I don't, Shaw, I don't have. I wish I could pick one. I can tell you right now, the knives that have been in my pocket the most have been the Mannix 2XL, the Benchmade 940 that I did the scales on, the jade green scales on, and the ZT 357. Those are probably the blades I've been carrying around the most. Yeah, but I mean, I still, from time to time, we'll look and be like, oh, hey, little guy, I haven't carried you in a while, and I'll take something out of the drawers that I haven't carried in a while, and then be like, oh, I miss this, and carry it for a week or two, and then put it back. And that Mannix 2, the XL, though, I keep coming back to over and over and over again. And the Mannix 2 in Maximet steel, that's just so great, for all-purpose stuff at work. That, excuse me, that keeps coming into my pocket over and over and over. So those are kind of like my big repeat in the pocket knives. So yeah. Yeah, David, that would be cool. This one I could get behind that. I just yeah, this is kind of the thing when you have a bunch to choose from. I mean, and I feel bad because there are knives that have gone into the collection and have never come out. Like, I got them and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I'm glad I have it, and it has never gone in my pocket. Like the steel will Tenant is just one I can think of right off my head. I don't know why. It's a cool knife. It's a good knife. I've never carried it. Never in my life. And there's, a bunch that are fine knives. I've just never carried them because they're ones I like better. There are a lot that I like better than, for whatever reason. Usually, for me, a lot of it has to do with mechanics and action. I think that can, what's the hype of Mannix steel? Maximet? Do you mean, Shaw? I'm assuming you mean Maximet. Maximet steel is just really good. I mean, I think for an EDC kind of steel, I mean, it holds an edge forever. I don't know. I've had that knife now for 3 or 4 years, and I've sharpened it one time since I got it, and it has just held that edge, and it has been phenomenal. Has gotten not a spot of rust on it. It's just been a great blade. I wish more stuff was available in it. It's a really sturdy, tough steel, and I really like it. So there's that. This is reminding me, I have that. I have some materials coming for that Benchmade, the 810 that you guys have seen. I did the blade work on, and I'm just waiting for the materials to come and do the handle over. And I think you guys are going to like it. I think it'll be cool. Joker Bladeworks Custom Gallows Bowie. See, I'm not a big guy. I'm not a big fixed blade guy. And so, Peter, this question is a good question, and people ask it a lot. But see, the thing is, to pick a best steel is like kind of hard because it really depends on what you're going to use that knife for. So to say a fixed blade, so the best steel for a fixed blade kitchen knife is different than the best steel for a bushcraft knife, different from a tactical, I said the T word, but like combat knife is different from a survival knife. You know what I mean? And same thing with a folder. An EDC blade is probably a different best steel than a hard use folder. So when you're looking around at different steels, you really got to know for like what it's for. So I would say, me personally, now that you said this, I'm going to ask you the next question. Now, are you looking for, when you say best steel, do you prioritize edge retention or ease of maintenance? Because a lot of times they're diametrically opposed. Now, for me, EDC steel should be easy to maintain because, for me, EDC you carry it around and it might get dull, but you can take it home and you can sharpen it easily. So for EDC, I don't think long. Oh, but you're looking for long-lasting sharpness. Okay, so 20 CV is a great EDC steel that lasts a long time, holds an edge a really long time. And again, these are just my choices. Other people feel free to disagree. People love M390 for EDC for its edge retention. People really like Magna Cut, which is kind of newer on the market for EDC. Now for camping, yeah, 1095 is like the classic, the classic carbon steel for like a camping knife. I would also, but my favorite edge retaining steel in like a fixed blade heavy duty knife is the 80CR. Is it 80CR-V2 or 80CR2V? I can't remember, but it's the 80CR-V2. Yeah. That it now it will, you've got to keep it clean, but it holds an edge like no other steel I've ever used. I wouldn't want it on a folding knife because, on a pocket knife, but when I wouldn't want it on a pocket knife because getting it in the pocket and having it around moisture, that's asking for corrosion. But having it on a fixed blade that's going to be, not in a moist area like in your pocket or something, man, that is. I have that on the Tarava Scrama, and that thing is a beast. I'm sorry, let me go back. I have to thank Doomsday Duck. Thank you, Doomsday Duck, and all your droneness. Thank you for all that, Angry. Is that an Air America badge? I just noticed that. That's cool. Yep, Matthew, I did. So I put up announcements for the Not a 940 on Instagram and in the community tab on the YouTube channel and on Facebook. And now D2 is a great steel. I see a lot of you guys talking about D2. I've always liked D2 since it was way back when it was considered a fancy premium steel. I know now it's not so much considered as fancy as it used to be. Once upon a time, and people forget this, D2 was a high-grade premium steel when it first got into knife blades. I still like, a well-done D2. I think the problem is that there are some cheap companies that knew that D2 was respected, and they either put weak D2 on the market, or they just mislabeled some crappy Chinese alphabet as D2, and D2 ended up with a really bad reputation that actual well-made, well-heat-treated D2 steel does not deserve. And that's why I think a lot of people look down on D2 these days, but they're probably people that have never used a well-made blade made of actual good quality D2 steel. D2, when done right, is like tank armor, and it is great. It's not really like tank armor. Don't armor your tank in D2 steel. It's not a good idea. But a really well-made blade with D2 can last you a long, long time. But I would say you put a D2 blade up against the 80 CRV2, and it's going to blow your mind how much better the 80 is. I mean, I was not prepared for what a good, forgiving but heavy duty steel that 80 CRV2 is. And for the life of me, I don't know. I have no idea why more people don't use it. I know it's a European steel. When you hear the 80 CR, whatever, you think it's Chinese. Because it's got the numbers, but it's not. It's a European-made steel. And so it's used in a lot of European stuff, but you don't see it very often on this side of the pond. And I just, like I said, I don't understand why a lot of people don't use it. I don't get it. It's great. Craig, I don't know. I know that you can get D2 cheaper. I don't know exactly what the price difference is. I have a feeling that the heat treatment and the annealing and everything is very different. I'm sure it is, because there's just a lot more known about D2, and not as much information out there for people that want to work their own on the other stuff. There's some websites I can go to and check, but again, if you go to the Tarava website, or Veruca Stella, what, I can't remember what it is. They're not that expensive. Less than 100 will get you, plus some shipping, will get you one of those, the Jukari Puko or the Scrama. So, I mean, I love them. I absolutely love them. I think they're fantastic. Great. I'm tired of this background. I got to change it. I got to change it. Hang on. It's not letting me change it now. I'm very upset. Why aren't you letting me show virtual background? There it is. Yeah, you guys can have this now. Kind of a hostile kitty cat staring at you. See, if I move closer to the computer, maybe, I don't know. This shirt is just not doing well with the green screen. Now you can all be stared at by PETA. Oh, and apparently the real life PETA is going to make an appearance. Hi, handsome kitty cat. Bring me my handsome kitty cat. It's my handsome kitty cat. Now we have kitty cat in the background. You know what's cool? He looks like the world's biggest cat.
I made you these.
You made me these?
Yeah.
These are so cool. Look what I got. Oh, look, because it's green. Look, you can see stuff behind it. Green. Oh, look. Oh, there's my face. Oh, there's PETA Kitty Cat. PETA Kitty Cat behind the Lego. Oh, there's PETA's nose. It's my hat. Oh, it's my hat shadow against the shirt. Yeah, there you go. Wait, ready? We're going to put this on PETA Kitty Cat's face again. PETA Kitty Cat face.
It looks like two floating Lego pieces.
Yeah. I'm going to put these right here, okay?
Okay.
Because they're so cool. Thank you for making them for me. Those are awesome.
This does go.
Oh, it goes like that?
Yeah.
Okay, you can tell me all about them when I'm done the live stream, okay? Working on a mission worker could also work because so many of them get captured by cartel members. Oh, we're still on this Far Cry thing.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Dominic, I am so out of shape too. It's disgusting. God, you know what? The PETA staring at me is freaking me out. I'm gonna look for a different virtual background. I don't have that much on here. Why don't we go with that? Do troll tears. Yeah. Anyway, so wow, I went through the drone thing faster than I thought I was going to, and I'm glad I don't have to do like a regular video on it now, because I wouldn't have. That would have been That would have been annoying. Oh, let me give you guys an update of what's coming. So, I got the prep box from PMP, recorded it. I'm not giving you any idea of what I think or about it or anything like that, but that's in. Barrel and Blade from March will arrive tomorrow. So got that. Those of you wanting to see more on the model channel, you'll have some more videos this week. You know what, Kurt? I've often thought about using the military against the cartels, but the problem is we would half-ass it, and we wouldn't let the military actually be the military, and we once again would be sending a military with lots of rules and restrictions against a bunch of people that have zero rules and zero restrictions, and it wouldn't work. You know, we the only way that would work is if we sent them full in to just cut a swath of full destruction through the jungles and kill everything. You know, Shaw, I'm kind of over cleaver style blades. Honestly, they've been so overdone in the last couple years. And I don't think that they really offer a lot in the way of EDC. Like they're not better than anything. They don't like offer any advantage over stuff. So I just, yeah, I kind of, they've been everywhere. And so I just, yeah. Yeah, but Kurt, nobody will let them take the gloves off. That's the problem. Nobody will. If everybody, people comment about how we did in Afghanistan and Iraq, and people that weren't deployed there don't realize how completely fucking restricted we were every single day. If the government wanted us to actually win those wars, we could have won those wars. We were fighting with both hands tied behind our backs and hopping on one foot. And we were, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to get into that now. I'm not going to get all sour, but I can't think of a single deployment of mine where we weren't kept from using our full capacity and our full ability, and it's sad because we have a military who's the military is not designed to go halfway. That's never what our equipment is designed for, and that's never what our doctrine and our tactics are designed for. We're not designed to halfway fight a war. We're designed to fight brilliantly and violently and defeat an enemy in the shortest amount of time. And when you give us the ability, when you tell us, put us in a position to only utilize a quarter of our capabilities, we can't follow through on anything. It's not, the U.S. military isn't designed to do that. And it's just, I'm gonna have a drink. If the last time we fought a war to win was World War II, and and believe it or not, Grenada, we went in '83. Reagan sent them in with overwhelming force, and the only restriction was, no excessive civilian casualties. and none of this half-assed. You know, it was like, if anybody even remotely points a weapon at you, kill them. Like, just wipe them out. That was the whole thing. And it's all right. I'm done. But yeah. So all right, I'm gonna stop with this. Sorry, but it was very difficult. You know, hearing that I couldn't call in the strikes or the stuff that I wanted to, because we might put that shrapnel might hit a palm tree too close to a village and blah 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 blah. Like, you know who doesn't care about that? The bad guys ambushing a Humvee ambulance trying to pick up a civilian casualty from that village. Craig, Grenada was about 24 hours of fighting, and that's it. No, it was about this little island, Grenada, not Granada in Spain, but Grenada in the Caribbean. There was a little socialist communist revolution, and there were American citizens on this island, and the Cubans sent in 5,000 engineers and advisors and stuff. So Reagan sent in the 82nd Airborne, the 75th Rangers, some SEAL teams, and a division of Marines. And we met the 5,000 Cubans with 50,000 Americans and said, no, absolutely not. You're not overthrowing a democratically elected government. And St. George's Medical College, for all the kids that couldn't get into medical school in the States, was there. And the movie Heartbreak Ridge, basically everything that Clint Eastwood's Marines did in Heartbreak Ridge, besides the phone call thing, but all of the battles they fought were done by Rangers, Army Rangers. And which is kind of funny. But yeah, so that was like a kind of a turning point, not too long after Vietnam, but it was one of those things where Reagan had been really talking tough to the Russians, and that was his exclamation point, saying, "I mean what I say." So yeah. And it was a well-executed military plan. Not saying we didn't have casualties. And it was the first time the Black Hawk was used in combat. Didn't go spectacularly well for the Black Hawk, but you had guys that had just transitioned from the Huey into the Black Hawk, and they had to learn how to fight it, correctly. And it was a really interesting kind of thing. My dad has told me stories about Grenada. And we did. It was Army Rangers that rescued the students, and it was Army Rangers that fought with the bulldozer, and some other stuff. But it was, yeah. So good times. Yeah, anyway, all right, so we've gotten way off the rails, as we always do. Clint Eastwood first movie appearance was the second creature from... I did not know that about Clint Eastwood. That's very interesting. I just saw a terrible, terrible movie from the 80s called Starflight 1, starring Lee Majors and Hal Holbrook, and awful. Had Robert Englund playing a very small bit part. I guess before he was Freddy, and I think it was before V, where he had a part in that too. So it was, boy, what a bad, terrible movie. It was like jumping on the bandwagon from like Airport, the real serious one, and like they had this hypersonic plane that was going to fly from Los Angeles to Australia in 2 hours, but of course there was a big disaster, and the thing accidentally ended up in orbit, and they had to then figure out how to rescue everybody. And in the Lee Majors was the pilot, And in the end, they had, they had Space Shuttle Columbia, because it was like the Space Shuttle was brand new, and the Space Shuttle Columbia was flew up like 8 times in a single day to like ferry passengers and supplies up there. And I was like, these people have no idea how the space shuttle actually works. The Killer Tomatoes and Rubber was so fun. Oh, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was terrible. Return of the Killer Tomatoes was even worse. And that starred a very, very young George Clooney. FYI. But Return of the Killer Tomatoes also starred a really hot chick with big breasticles. And she was a tomato, but she was like a human tomato. Her name was Tara. In the movie, I remember that. Of course I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. So that was that. Anyway, guys. All right. We have successfully talked about absolutely nothing in this last thing. Critters was awesome. Evil Bong, I don't know. Yeah, Todd, there are some movies that are so bad they're good. This one I watched the other night does not fit into that category. It's so bad, it was just bad, ridiculous, awful, sucked. But it was like on a list of, I forgot, a list of like underrated sci-fi movies or something, and so I decided to check it out, and it was just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Can't believe the $1 Million Man decided to join in on that. Zardoz. If you guys have not seen Zardoz, and there's a little part of you that hates yourself just a little much, see Zardoz. Because you'll never recover from seeing that. I don't even think the director knew what he was trying to say in that movie. That was just awful. That was some kind of special bad. I mean, I'm not even telling you about it. You need to see it. No, you don't. But you do. But you don't. Ice Pirates I liked. Ice Pirates was not as bad as Solar Babies, which was bad. I had hopes for Mars Attacks because when I was little, I had reprints of the of the comic books, and of course they made a fiasco comedy out of Mars Attacks. Mars Attacks was a horror comic book, when they first released it. It was like about carnage. It was not about a funny, Sarah Jessica Parker's head on a dog. It was like the end of the human race with the Martians attacking and disintegrating people. I had nightmares. Yeah. It was just, it was. Jason is the man that got us the PMP box that you guys will see probably on Friday. Oh, there's going to be a live unboxing, me and Video Addict, of the Barrel and Blade tomorrow, about 8 o'clock Eastern time. FYI, I should have said that. I'll have to put it out on Instagram. Resident Evil #1, the game or the movie? I remember playing the original Resident Evil on the original PlayStation in a barracks room in Fort Bliss. Running into walls a lot of the time, but man, that was good times. Played Wing Commander on that old PlayStation with my friend too. And on Wing Commander 2 or 3, they have Ginger Lynn. Mark Hamill and Ginger Lynn. If you've ever wondered if Luke Skywalker has ever starred with a porn star, it is true. It's Wing Commander 2 or 3. I can't remember. Mark Hamill and Ginger Lynn were played in the live action sequences of that game. She is your ace mechanic in the hangar bay. I don't know how they put that together, but yeah. Yes, Craig. That Ginger Lynn. I was playing the game and I was like, wait a minute. I had to check and be like, this isn't some parody game. Like I really did get the right game, right? This isn't like Like Wang Commander, is it? No, it's Wing Commander. Okay. Speaking of, what a great parody video that would have been for her to make. Wang Commander. Okay. Well, anyway, guys, boy, we started talking about the difference between drones and RPVs, and we ended up talking about Ginger Lynn starring in Wang Commander. That's awesome. Hey, Swamp Pirate, you just missed us talking about Wang Commander. What a great talk we've had on this one. So, Swing Commander, that works too. Hello, Mr. Peter Kitty Cat. Mr. Peter Kitty Cat is here. So anyway, guys, I think we've run out of good ideas for this one. So I'm going to thank you all for joining me, and I am going to pet this handsome cat right here, and I'm going to go hang out with my boys for a little bit and let Ethan describe to me in detail his Lego creation that he made, and edit up the PMP box, and live unboxing tomorrow night, me and Video Addict, and then more fun stuff. But please remember that, wait, the Wooks Axe you reviewed was only... Oh. That's interesting, Swamp Pirate. I don't know. I mean, I'm not throwing axes anyway, so it's just... You left a message explaining. Okay, I'll read that message. Thank you. I need explanations much of the time. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see what we've got going on next week. Oh, you heard the knife on me, huh? Hold on, I got to turn off the green screen again. Hang on. This is a little knife by Harns. It's called Time. It's actually called the Time. It won't show up right now. It's jade. It's a very unique. It's a minty jade, which I like. Minty jade. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been just flicking this thing down, but look, the action on it's great. I'll do a whole. I'll show you this. I just started subscribing to the MRE Nation box. You have any interest in reviewing those? Of course I do, Jason. Why wouldn't I? Jason, I have a big box I got to send to you of a lot of stuff. So I'll probably do a whole review on this, but I don't know what the steel on this is. I got to check. Yep, it's Sandvik. You're right, Todd. The best bushcraft knife I would recommend, Jonathan, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, a Mora. Almost any Mora Basic, Mora Companion, Mora Garberg, the Mora, there's another one in between, I can't remember. Moras are great. If you're willing to spend a little bit of money, look up the Tarava Jacari Puko. Look on my channel. I reviewed it. But the Tarava Jacari Puko, the steel they use on that, I was talking about it before, is so amazingly tough and rugged. I absolutely love it. It's a tough Scandi grind knife, and it is just awesome. I would highly recommend that. It's actually a lot tougher than a Mora. Full tang knife, nice big thick billet of steel, and it will hold an edge forever. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, all right, I'm gonna get going. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are all absolutely awesome. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will be back again real soon.